You know, it's no secret that I love hunting South Dakota. Heck, I am a native, so I know what the state has to offer. And when I get a chance to go after whitetails, especially during the rut, I'm on the road whether it's day or night because I want to take advantage of the bucks when they're at their nuttiest. On western rivers, or any river for that matter, steep banks are perfect ways to access the back oxbows, the back bends of rivers where big bucks may like to hold up. That's what we're doing here. So we're trying to get into a good spot with the wind in our favor. The wind's coming right here, so I'm having to circle all the way to the back. And then we'll go right up through the middle with the wind in our face, rattling, grunting, doing whatever, just still hunting. That way, you're right in a buck's bedroom, right where you need to be with the wind in your favor. Now this season, I was fortunate enough to hunt a new property, a big, vast prairie property with the winding river bottom coming through it. When the rain let up, I made a big, bold move into the back end of an oxbow. And it wasn't even 5 minutes into getting into the back end of that oxbow, and I had a whitetail rut right by. And 5 minutes after that, mule deer were rutting by and parallel walking each other in an attempt to fight each other. The action was hot, and I knew it was going to be good. I took my time, though, and eased through the river bottom, rattling, stopping, glassing, rattling, stopping, glassing, taking my time. Now, interestingly enough, the most exciting thing to happen on that particular hunt, in that oxbow, was that the mule deer were responding way better than the whitetails to the calls. The whitetails were there, but the whitetails that I did see, they had cutaway does and were probably in the process of getting ready to breed them. And you know, when you got a girlfriend, you got her out on a date, you really don't want to get in a fight, because getting in a fight, it kind of ruins the mood of the evening. It's midday right now, or just a little after lunch. And we're still into deer, so when it's mid-November, there's really no reason at all not to hunt all day. Unless your spouse says you have to go do some chores. But other than that, you need to hunt all day. Buck, right here. And immediately, here come a buck running right beside me, right up to me, not even 30 yards away, stopped looking around, fired up, charged up, ready to fight. There he goes. He wasn't quite a shooter. He's a young buck, nice 4x5, probably just a 2 or 3 year old buck. But just, I don't think he's the big one. We saw two from way up on high. There's a buck coming right here, right here. And here comes another buck. And this time, we're talking a dandy, a heavy horn, 5x5 mature buck. He cruised by at 25 yards or less, except he was in such super thick brush, I couldn't get the shot off. All I could see was like this, and mostly about like that of him. But I could really see those big antlers, and it was making me mad that I couldn't get the hunt over right now. A few seconds later, turned, then all of a sudden he was gone. As the sun set on that first day, you know, I had a pretty good hunt. I saw a lot of deer. I almost got run over by a big mule deer buck, and the whitetails looked promising. Just a matter of time before I found the right one.
North American Hunter is brought to you by Federal Premium Ammunition. Every shot counts. Matthews, catch us if you can. Mossy Oak, it's not a passion, it's an obsession. Nikon, the trusted name in optics. Game Hive, makers of the Freedom Sleeve. Hunting wear is all we do. Thompson Center, America's master gun maker. And by huntingclub.com, the official site of the North American Hunting Club.
Deer were moving right away. As soon as my Nikon binocular could pick up light, I could see deer. A buck here, a buck on the hill, some does running there. And within a matter of minutes, right at shooting light, a nice buck came cruising through the weeds. All I could see was the top of his antlers. But he looked good enough to give him a call to see if he'd come on over and let me judge him just a little bit closer. And this buck came just like I'd thrown a lure out to him and was reeling him in. He come plodding straight to the call. And I didn't even know it, but I caught the attention of one of his buddies back further in the grass. He was just a little bit smaller, and he surprised me when he came out of the grass. But at the end, I decided that neither one was quite what I was looking for yet. Perfect morning for calling. It's clear, calm, crisp. We had horrible winds yesterday, but we still managed to rattle in that big buck and another buck. But this morning is just perfect. That just proved it. Those bucks come from a little over 100 yards away, right to me on 2 grunts. It's all it took to get their attention. I'm going to hold out just one more day before I start hunting for the freezer. We'll still hunt a little bit for some antlers right now. Whew, the rut's going, and these deer are really, really on fire right now. Now this year, I had a chance to come back to western South Dakota, and western South Dakota is my all-time favorite hunting place. It's just something about the big open draws, the brushy ravines, and the cottonwood river bottoms that drive me nutty. And I like to get in there and go after those whitetails with a combination of tactics. Spot and stalk, calling, and even taking a stand from time to time to see if a whitetail's going to come out and nip a little alfalfa. We've been sitting down in the fields all morning hoping some whitetails would come by. Our hopes came true. They came right into the grunt calls right at sunrise. Now we're going to look over into the river bottom from up top. This is one of my favorite tactics, is to get up high, look down into the river bottom. It's something you can do anywhere, even in timber if you find some ravine where you can look from the top of the ridge right down. But it's midday. It's a good time to be hunting. Too many people don't hunt at midday, and I got nothing else to do except to hunt. Now, even though I was ready for a sandwich, even an hour or two before that, I didn't rush up and just plop down. You need to take your time when you're going up to a high spot. First of all, you don't want to silhouette yourself and let everything see you. And second of all, you want to get the jump on the game. You want to see them first before they see you. Oh, there's a deer. There's a good buck right down here on a doe. He's chasing another buck, chasing it away from that doe. Looks like a shooter. I dropped my backpack off, and in clear Kaiser style, I hit the dirt and start crawling. Most people think my hunting is more like baby style because all I do is crawl, but I like to keep a low profile. Just as I set up, I wanted to make one more confirmation, and it was a shooter. He had big, long mane beans. He looked like he had good mass. Not a real wide buck, but he was a mature-looking animal. I knew this was the buck that would make old Mark happy. Got set up, ready to shoot, and what happens? He walks back into the brush, following the doe, and it was thick. I was just going nuts. He would pop through one little opening, I'd get on him, he'd be gone. He'd stand still forever in another spot, and there was too much brush. suddenly the doe came through one nice opening, and I knew he was going to come through that opening any second. When she moved, he moved right in. And an instant later, he was down for the count. Yeah, got him. I didn't waste any time heading down the hill. Here he is right there. That is a giant, nice western whitetail. That's a giant wherever you go. I'm going to go out on a limb here, a real limb, and tell you that this is the same buck I rattled in yesterday when it was blowing 40, 50 mile an hour. That is the way to end any hunt right here. It was a tough hunt, but it was great, great action. Lots of rattling, lots of weather, and keeping my goals high for the buck I wanted, and having the buck that got away at 25 yards go back home with me in my truck.
The secrets of rattling in big bucks. Mark Kaiser explains when North American Hunter continues.
One advantage to hunting whitetails from a tree stand is the elevation puts you above the deer and reduces the likelihood that they will either see you or smell you. But the same advantage could be a huge disadvantage if you don't understand how angles will affect your shot. I recommend incorporating angles into your practice routine. Shoot from a tower, a stand, or even your deck. And use what you learned to position your sight pins versus sighting in from level ground. This will ensure accuracy once you climb 20 feet into a tree stand. There are instances, however, when your stand may be much higher. This is one of my favorite stands, but it sits on a ravine, and the shooting lane down below, where you could be looking at some very steep angles. To help us mathematically challenge, Nikon has created the Archer's Choice Angle Compensating Rangefinder. It automatically compensates for angles up to 89 degrees. That's almost straight up and down. When hunting, I like to keep things as simple as possible. This rangefinder gives me only one number, the number I need to make the shot. The Archer's Choice rangefinder gives you the exact distance to your buck rather than the line of sight distance. It's simple mathematics, but it can make a big difference in the field. No mathematics, just range and shoot. The only problem now, when you miss, who's there left to blame?
The following products have been field tested and approved by members of the North American Hunting Club. Shoot and See self-adhesive targets produce a bright yellow ring around every bullet hole and offer a fluorescent orange aiming point.
The Black Hawk Black Summit Premium Hydration Pack features 100 webbing points, numerous pockets, expandable midsection, bungee retention system for external storage, and built-in hydration bladder.
To find out how you can become a field tester, visit huntingclub.com. Our field testers get to keep everything they test.
Whether you're bow hunting or gun hunting, it seems like you never always pick the perfect spot, so you want to get the animals in close. You know how I do it? Rattling, grunt, snort, wheezes, and bleat. They all work great during the rut through the entire length of it, but they work especially well during the pre-rut. Bucks are keyed up. They got a lot of testosterone stored up, and they need to do something with it. And when they hear a fight going on, they like to charge in. Even if they're not the biggest, baddest buck in the woods, they still like to come in and see. Now, the key to rattling and any deer calling is not to get too carried away. Don't call too much, but be realistic. And realism for rattling is short bursts of fighting. Bucks generally don't fight for long periods of time. It's usually a short, quick fight. So that's how you want your rattling setup to be. But along with the rattling setup, lots of crashing, lots of breaking, clanking. You also will hear different things, such as at the beginning of the fight, the snort wheeze call. It's just a simple call that deer use to tell another buck, hey buddy, you're in my space, and you take the wrong step, and I'm going after you. The first time I heard that was actually on mule deer. So this call works good on mule deer or whitetail. And when this call is used is when two bucks are pairing up and parallel walking past each other. They're sizing each other up, and the dominant buck will let the snort wheeze out to tell the other guy, I'm the man, you're not, get off my turf.
You call the shot on a huge Alaskan moose when North American Hunter continues.
You know, one pursuit I don't get enough of ever is hunting moose.
I've never done it.
Well, then you don't ever get enough of it.
I'd like to go do it.
Oh, I don't get enough of it. And I'm sure, Larry, it's like, you know, one of those things you get to do every few years if you're lucky. And
moose hunting it's like hunting giant whitetails.
And how would you judge that when you look for look at a moose? Yeah,
that's big.
But I haven't done it. So what am I looking for here?
You know, it depends on what particular subspecies you're hunting and where you're hunting as in terms of what the spread is. There's also a lot of places where they have to have a certain number of points on their brow tine. So generally when I've been hunting, I've looked for something that fits that legal characteristics.
Right.
But also in so many places, you've got to hunt with a guide. And there you just go, and how wide is he?
Yeah, how wide
big is he?
How about the vitals? Are the vitals different than like from an elk or from a deer?
No, I'd say they're in basically the same position, but you got to remember they got a much bigger hump, so don't let your eye wander up high on that body.
Well, here we've got a situation, I think, what did it say, 300 Win Mag, great cartridge, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, man, I'm right there with you.
I am, too. I love that, particularly for hunting moose. You know, 118 yards, you got a good solid rest, and your heart isn't going like that. You know, that's certainly a very
Now,
good.
is that a pretty typical range for a moose? 100 yards, 200 yards?
It depends on where you're hunting them.
That's probably an average range. I'd say it's about 100 yards.
100 yards.
At that distance, you can get a pretty good shot into them. You can be a better judge as to how big they are, and you get a better opportunity to look at that terrain right there as to see how long is it going to take to get him packed out of here.
That's right. It looks like a good bull to me. Would you take that shot?
I'm thinking I would. He's a little quartering to me. I'd be a little worried about that, but knowing the bullets I'd be using and with that gun, the energy at that range, you have full energy, you're going to break him down
That's
right there.
the fact that he's got a shoulder bone that's about yay thick really wouldn't concern me with that 300 Win Mag with a good bullet.
And I think, again, you're going to hit that shoulder. He's going to stumble. If at the very worst, you're going to just have to follow up with a second shot.
That's right.
I think it's going to be one good shot anyway.
Whoops.
It looks like he waited.
Come on, Charlie. I think you might have gotten into him there.
Yep.
And it seems like with moose, you can get a couple shots off.
I really love the fact that Charlie put a second bullet into him. Too very often I see people, particularly on TV these days, they make a shot and they're admiring the shot. They need to be reloading and getting ready just in case. And you don't want to have to follow this animal very far. You want to put him down as quickly as you can because every step that he takes away means that much more poundage that you got to carry back. So to me, the quicker you can put him down, the better off you are.
And that's my philosophy, whether you hunt with a bow or a gun, is until he's on the ground and you know he's done, keep shooting.
Well, obviously, Charlie's taken an absolutely great bull. He's got a lot of width on that palm, a lot of length on the palm. A lot of points there, but not only is it going to be an absolutely beautiful rack on the wall, there's some good eating once you get him packed out of the woods.
I'm jealous until the point where they take the knives out of their sheaths.
Well put.
North American Hunter is brought to you by new supercharged scent killer by Wildlife Research Center, beyond 99%. Polaris. See the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles now at your local dealer. Quebec, providing emotion since 1534. To receive your free packages brochure, please call 1-877-BONJOUR. Cuddyback, fast trigger speed, long battery life. Gammo USA, Adult Precision Air Guns, and by these other fine sponsors.